everyone, my name is Corps and welcome back to another video. Now before I begin, I just want to quickly say happy 2024. 2023 was a pretty wild year for me, to definitely say the least. Last year I graduated high school and was able to participate in a lot of art related events. And of course, late last year was when I started recording YouTube videos for all of you guys, and I gotta say, it's definitely been a blast so far. Speaking of YouTube, thank you all so much for 2,000 subscribers. That is wild. 2,000 people, oh my goodness. I feel like people tend to underestimate just how many people that number is. Like, if every single one of you stood in a room, that would be 2,000 people in a single room. That is crazy. Thank you all so much for your support, and I'm definitely going to do my best to improve making videos for you guys this year. Now, as for the topic of today's video, I want to discuss an up-and-coming cartoon coming onto YouTube called Reality Resort. This total drama inspired cartoon is currently still in the works, and I am super excited for it. I just had to make a video about it. Now before I begin the video, I just want to quickly say to please support the Reality Project. All of their socials, such as their YouTube, Discord server, Instagram, and Twitter will be linked in the description, as well as their merchandise store. The animators and artists who have been working on this project so far have so far done a phenomenal job, so any and all type of support going their way would be super appreciated. Now in this video, I'm mainly going to be discussing the characters, we're going to be talking about their designs and their biographies, as well as my overall first impressions. I'll be discussing each character in order of how they were released on the Reality Project's Instagram account. Also, a quick disclaimer, if I do pronounce any of these names incorrectly, I do sincerely apologize. Now first up on our list of characters, we have Analise Santos. Growing up, Analise has always been told how beautiful she is, which has allowed her to experience certain opportunities that her peers did not get to. Her reliance on her looks has created a skewed perception of reality, as she has been able to coast through life without much adversity. As a model, her career continues to validate this mantra, and she is expecting to reach even more people by competing on Reality Resort. Is there more behind this curtain, or is what you see what you get with Analise? Now I must say, just based on that biography alone, Analise is one of the characters who has definitely hooked my attention the most. I feel as if her character is mainly going to focus around her journey of self-discovery. After all, Analise's decision to compete on a show like Reality Resort would suggest her desire to expand her reach and perhaps showcase more of herself beyond her appearance. I can imagine that during the first half of the show, she'll most likely be solely depending on her looks in order to pull herself through, but then slowly realizing that looks aren't what pull you through in life. Also, just by looking at the official artwork that we have seen of Analise so far, she doesn't exactly look necessarily malicious or seem to have bad intentions. Overall, Analise is one of my favourite characters from this cast so far, and I'm really excited to see her story and character expand. Now, our next member of the cast is Brad. If there's a party, chances are that Brad is there. He's all about living in the moment and putting himself in precautious situations just for the memories. His ability to be spontaneous and think on his feet is what led him to becoming the president of his fraternity, even if what he comes up with aren't exactly the best ideas. As long as you don't get in his way, you won't find out about his alter ego, Mad Brad. He usually skips leg day, but in preparation for Reality Resort, Brad has started getting his butt into shape for what could be the best party of his life. Just like Analise, Brad is another one of the characters in this cast that really does hook my attention. He just seems like so much fun. Also, just the idea of this guy having an alternate ego named Mad Brad just makes me laugh. Now, while I do believe that Brad will mainly be playing as a comedic relief character this season, I can also see Brad taking on a leadership type of role for his team. Because despite not being the sharpest tool in the shed, Brad's ability to be able to think on his feet is what gave him position of president within his fraternity. This indicates a certain charisma or skill in rallying people despite potential missteps along the way. Now, despite how simple this character type really is, I really think that Brad has a lot of opportunity to step outside the boundaries and make for a really fun and unique character. Now, the next character released was Charles Wong. Charles has managed to get by in life due to his intellect, despite his extremely low levels of motivation. He settled for a teaching gig at his old high school since it seemed like the easiest job he could do, not minding the relatively low salary since he doesn't spend much of his money. Rather, he prefers to go to galleries and museums to envelop himself in the rich history of art and literature. Persuaded by his students to give Reality Resort a shot, can Charles muster up enough energy to win the $250,000 cash prize? Now, Charles is sadly a character who I can see not making it all too far, and if he does, I will genuinely be really surprised. Due to his lack of motivation, I can see him not really caring nor wanting to participate too much in challenges. However, The fact that his students convinced him to participate in the show suggests that while he might lack personal motivation, external encouragement or influence can prompt him to step out of his comfort zone. The contrast between Charles' intellectual capacity and lack of drive will definitely be a unique thing to see in the show. Now moving on from Charles, next we have Shirley Brown. Shirley's propensity to be over the top and easily excitable has allowed her to be very successful at her job in marketing. She's able to break the ice and connect with many people in various ways. While she was never a delinquent, her friends knew her as the wild child of her family due to her general curiosity and ability to make friends easily. Since settling down with her boyfriend, she's tamed some of these quirks, but who knows if they'll come back out on Reality Resort. Now Cheryl's character is honestly kinda hard to analyze because she seems super unpredictable and, well, a wild card. There are a lot of different directions in which they could take this character. For example, due to her social and wild nature, she could definitely do quite well in challenges and be able to make a lot of allies. However, due to her love for connecting with other people, I can also see her being easily manipulated as well as an early boot. I also believe that Shirley's job as a marketer could really help her get further in the game. After all, being successful at marketing requires the skill to communicate as well as convince others on what you have to say. I don't exactly have nothing else to really add to Cheryl, so let's move on to Drew. After graduating high school, Drew went right into the workforce as he thinks college is a scam. By day, he's a zoned out grocery store clerk. By night, he's a passionate conspiracy theorist. Drew is convinced that the government is out to get him and that most people are corrupt and horrible, which he'll tirelessly try to prove. He's chronically online, which is how he's developed these beliefs, oftentimes confusing his own reality with the opinions he holds. Okay, now just the idea alone of having a chronically online conspiracy theorist compete in a reality show is absolutely hilarious to me. Just from his biography alone, I can already imagine that Drew is going to be one wild character to follow throughout the season. However, I can imagine that Drew's distinctive worldviews and opinions will most likely cause him to get eliminated rather early. I think having Drew's opinions and values challenged by a character like Brad or Shirley could possibly even help Drew expand and grow as a person. Overall, seeing this character type in a show like this will be really fun and entertaining to watch, and I can't wait to see where they take Drew as a character. Now the next character I'm talking about I'm going to keep quite short because I don't really have much to say about Finn. Finn is a total package. At least that's what he was told until 3 months ago when his fiancée of 2 years spontaneously broke off their engagement. Heartbroken, Finn has distracted himself by working tirelessly all day followed by crying sessions at night. His friend signed him up for Reality Resort to help him face the reality that his engagement is over, and as an attempt to get him back in the dating game. His love for paleontology is currently the only thing getting him through his tough stage of life, but will Reality Resort be the final hurdle to getting over his past lover? Now, if I'm going to be entirely honest about my feelings about Finn, I'm not too interested in this character whatsoever. I've personally never been a fan of this character archetype by any means because more often than not, it gets really annoying really quickly. Now, I'm not going to be too harsh on this character because after all that we have to base off of these guys is a biography. But I'm sorry, just from that tidbit that we've read so far, it just doesn't capture my interest. But who knows, maybe Finn might pleasantly surprise me in the series. We'll just have to wait and see. Next up on the list, we got Isidor. Isidor just started college as an underdeclared major as she's got zero clue of what career she wants to pursue. An ongoing battle between how she thinks of herself and how she views the world causes her to struggle with wanting to make the most out of her time on Earth despite knowing how awful it can be. While she may appear sweet and innocent, once she opens her mouth, she comes off across as an entirely different person. Feeling lost, she hopes competing on Reality Resort will be a nice break from the headaches. Isidor kinda gives me the vibes that she's also going to experience a story of self-discovery, and if so, I think her interacting with Analise would really help benefit the both of them. I'm not entirely sure about how I feel about Isidor's character yet, but I will say that she definitely does have my attention. I do see a lot of potential in Isidor as a character, and if her writing is really good, I can definitely see her being one of my favorites of the cast. Also, can I just say her design is absolutely adorable? The warmer and bright color palettes mixed with her personality is honestly a really funny contrast and I really like it. Also, I do feel as if Isidor will most likely become a fan favorite due to just how relatable she is. As someone who's just graduated high school myself, I can definitely relate to her character as she's still trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life like myself. Now moving on from Isidor, we have Kylie. Kylie is a small, aspiring content creator looking to make it big as an influencer. She fully embraces her dorky nature and quirky interests such as puzzles and anime. The bulk of her audience started following her for her cosplaying videos and speedrun challenges. Although she hopes to make this her full-time job, her parents haven't been the most supportive and want her to keep an open mind to other jobs. Kylie applied to Reality Resort as a challenge to prove to her parents that she has what it takes to make it big. Ah yes, another character to add to the favorites list. Kylie is just so cute. And to me personally, she's definitely the most relatable in the cast. I'd love to see Kylie throw in some one-liners and jokes at the anime community. I think that'd just be hilarious. I think having an open character like Kylie who's willingly embracing her dorky nature instead of, feeling like she has to hide it or like she doesn't fit in with others. It's an archetype that's seen in media over and over and over again, and I think having someone who's actually passionate about what they're interested in is a really good change to see. As to what Kylie could provide to the game, I'm not entirely sure, but I will say that I am super excited to see the direction of her character. Coming up next, we have Marcus. Untreated addictions to alcohol and gambling ultimately led Marcus to an untimely divorce. After blowing his family's life savings at his latest casino trip, his wife decided enough was enough and kicked him out. During the divorce process, Marcus represented himself as he is a decent lawyer and was able to dissuade his soon-to-be ex-wife to agree to the terms that if he were to get back all of the money he lost, they could terminate the divorce. Coincidentally, Reality Resort is offering just more than enough to cover the costs. Will Marcus' pessimistic outlook on life ruin his chances to put his life back together, or will he find the courage to win the show and his wife back? Ah yes, we found him. We found my favorite character of this cast. Marcus is easily my favorite character of the cast so far because his story is already so engaging and interesting. If I had to make an assumption, I'm most likely going to assume that Marcus will be the main antagonist, if not an antagonist for the show. And considering he's a lawyer, I can imagine that he's rather good at persuading people as well as being able to manipulate and lie to others. I think having Marcus interacting with characters like VJ, Brad, and Cheryl would really help challenge his pessimistic outlook on life. I really am super excited to see Marcus play this season. He just seems like he's going to be so entertaining and so much fun. Hashtag Team Marcus, let's go! Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, leave a comment on what you thought, and subscribe. It really does help me out. The next part with this video will hopefully be done within the next few weeks, and until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!